Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be going through the best loadouts for each of the classes in the finals, and we're going to start off with the light. So, for the specialization, you can either go for the cloaking device or the evasive dash. I'm not going to get into each of these too much, because I do that in other videos, and I have videos similar to this one already. This is just kind of going to be an updated version, but I'm not really going to, describe anything so much. So I would go for the evasive dash or the cloaking device here, and I think the grappling hook probably isn't going to be the best pick in most scenarios. For the weapon, you've got a couple of good options here. You've got the XP54, very strong. V9S is still very, very good, and the double barrel shotgun is very good as well. M11 got a buff yesterday, as of the time of releasing this video, making its bullets do a tiny bit more damage, so I've tried this out in the firing range a bit. I don't think it's the most notable buff, and the iron sights are still pretty bad, and the recoil pattern is still pretty bad, so I think the XP54 is just still going to be a bit better than it. The LH1 also got a buff, and it's fine. It's still not great. It's still got a lot of visual recoil to it, but I think the V9S, the double barrel shotgun, and the XP54 are all quite strong right now, and then you can use the LH1, the sniper, the dagger, the sword, and the throwing knife if you want, but I would say the V9S, the shotgun, and the XP54 are going to be quite good. So for the gadgets, I have the breach charge on, and this is good for just getting into a place that I want to get into quickly, and I quite like being able to do that, so I have it on. Pyro grenade is also good just for destroying goo. It can be useful, and destroying gas it can also be useful, and then it can also be good to throw on someone's totem so someone can't revive, and throwing on a cashout so someone can't steal, and also just for setting fire to things. So I think it's quite a useful thing to have. But you can also go for the glitch grenade. Glitch grenade is very, very good, or a frag, or a gas grenade. You can kind of pick a lot of different things here. I would stay away from the flashbang. Flashbang isn't going to be fantastic. Smoke grenade probably isn't great. Motion sensor isn't fantastic, and I would definitely stay away from thermal vision. There is a reason this thing is the only thing for the light that I haven't unlocked yet, right? So I would stay away from that as well. And then in my last lot, I've got the stun gun, which is also good. Basically does the same thing as the glitch grenade and also slows down the enemy's movement. So I would keep the stun gun on here. This is quite good, and the breach charge can be very, very useful as well. But you can change this, and then you can change the pyro grenade as well. But that's what I would have on personally. And also on your reserve, it is good to note that you can also put multiple weapons on this. So I've got the shotgun, the sniper, the sword, and then on my last slot, I should probably actually put on something else that I might actually use, like the V9S. So there you go. So, on to the medium. So we've got the Guardian turret, you've got the recon sensors, and you've got the healing beam. Healing beam is probably just simply the best. It's very, very powerful, can be super annoying to deal with, and it pairs especially well with the defibrillator. So that's probably just the strongest. Guardian turret, good as a distraction, does really not so much damage, but it does distract enemies, so it can be useful. And then recon sensors are pretty good, but if you are playing medium, you'll probably want another medium on your team running the healing beam if you have these on. I think 2 heavies and a medium and 2 mediums and a heavy are both very, very good. So if you're running 2 mediums and a heavy, then one with recon sensors, one with the healing beam, and then the heavy on their own would probably be quite a good combo. You'd obviously want to be voice chatting with teammates if you're using this, so you can call out where people are, but it is quite good. Healing beam is very good, and then the Guardian turret you can use if you want as well. But none of these are really awful. They're all okay, and they all have their own uses. For the weapon, I like the FCAR. It definitely needs a buff. It's really not a very strong weapon, but I like it just because it's got no visual recoil at all, and half of the mag kind of goes up and right, and then the other half stays exactly still, so I quite like that as well. The AKM is just better. It really is just a better weapon. I really don't like visual recoil though, and this thing has a little bit of visual recoil, and sometimes for me, the FCAR is just easier to aim, but this definitely needs a mag size buff. But yeah, SCAR you can go with if you want. The AKM is probably just going to be better. I would stay away from the CL40. It's not fantastic, and it can be hard to hit shots with it. Revolver is good. The shotgun is okay as well. This thing could do with a buff. The light shotgun and the heavy shotgun are both much, much, much better. And this thing doesn't really pack that much of a punch. It's got some good range, but doesn't pack that much of a punch. And then the riot shield is fine. You can go with it if you want, but something else you're just going to be able to get more kills with. So for the gadgets, if you're playing medium, just put the defibrillator on. Do everyone a favor and just leave it on. Good job. It's going to help you so much in a lot of situations, especially if you're pairing it with the healing beam. And then it's good to have movement. You don't have to have movement on, but having movement as the medium is good. Zip lines are super useful, and jump pads are very, very useful as well, especially if the game changer is the like floating platforms. It can be really, really useful to have a zip line or a jump pad. They're probably going to be your only way up sometimes, and if you don't have anything to destroy the suspenders of the platforms, then you're just not going to be able to get the cash out. But also, you don't have to have movement, right? You can also just have like another gas mine or the APS turret or something else like that. And then on my second slot rather, I've got the explosive mine. I've done them backwards, I don't know why, but there you go. I've got the explosive mine on here. You can go for like glitch trap, or the gas mine. You can also just go for like loads of movement and have the jump pad on as well, or the sonar grenade is also very, very good. The APS turret is good as well. Pretty much just up to you, but definitely put the defibrillator on anyway. And then for the reserve, again, I've just got 3 weapons on that I might sometimes switch between. Then I've got the APS turret on just because that's probably the most likely thing that I'm going to change. I did used to like the sonar grenades, but when I play medium, I do like to have a little bit of like offensive capability as well. So I quite like having the explosive mines on there. But a lot of this is just preference. A lot of the mediums things are quite good, so yeah, you can kind of use whatever you want here. I'd stay away from the tracking dart and maybe the flashbangs again. They're probably not going to be fantastic, but everything else is like fairly okay. So, on to the heavy. For the specialization, I really, really like Charge and Slam, especially when you pair it with the shotgun. They can go very, very well together, and that is also kind of just the counter to the mesh shield. So when someone mesh shielding and you have the shotgun on you, it's good to just like push into them and they'll just panic, and then you can finish them off with the shotgun. And it also does do a fair bit of damage. You can also just kill them with the Charge and Slam if they're low. And then also it does just give you a small movement buff as well, and its cooldown is very fast. So I really like the Charge and Slam, but if you're playing in a team and you're all using voice chat, then the mesh shield is obviously going to be very good as well. Goo gun is probably just a bit weaker, but you can use it creatively, so it's up to you which one you want to pick here. So now for the weapons. This shotgun's still very, very good. I've used it in a good few ranked tournament games since the newest update, and it's still pretty strong. So, you know, still probably the meta, I would say. And then, of course, you do also have the Lewis gun, which is also very strong. This thing's got a lot of recoil, but if you can control that, then it is good. Flamethrower isn't great. It got a very, very small buff recently, but nothing noteworthy. It's still not going to be that strong. M60 is fine. You can go with it if you want, but the Lewis gun is probably just going to be better. Sledgehammer is the melee weapon rather, and you can use it, but you know, it's good for destroying buildings and stuff. It's got a lot of destructive damage, but you're probably not going to get so many kills with it. And this grenade launcher is good as well, but it is a bit quirky. It bounces once and then blows up on the second bounce, I believe. But if you can get used to that, then it does do a lot of damage, and it does have a decent mag size. But it is quite quirky, so you'd have to be very good at being used to that. But I would say that the shotgun's still super strong, and the Lewis gun is still quite strong as well. So for the gadgets, you probably just want to put the RPG on. This thing got nerfed. It's still very good, still one-shot sights. You just have to be a bit more accurate with it, but it is still very, very good. Dome shield also got nerfed. I don't think this needed a nerf at all, but unfortunately it did get nerfed, and it is still very good. It does still just buy you that extra second to steal that cash out, or that extra second to res a teammate. And if you've got 2 heavies and you throw 2 dome shields on like in the same place, then it's going to have 600 HP, I believe, and that can be quite good as well for a good few extra seconds to steal a cash out or get a res or something. So I quite like these. And also there's like nothing else I would really rather have on here. There's just mines and stuff, but I already have the RPG and the C4 for like offensive capabilities, so I kind of like having something defensive. The barricades just aren't fantastic really. So I quite like having the dome shield on. You can go for the barricades here, or like the pyro grenade or a mine or whatever. Again, I'd stay away from the flashbang, but everything else you can kind of put on here if you want. And then you've got C4 as well. These also got nerfed. Like the heavy got really nerfed with this recent patch, but the C4 is still good as well. It still blows stuff up, and it can still get kills. It's still good for cash out defense. It's still good for putting on barrels. So yeah, this loadout is pretty much the same as it would have been before this update. Like everything was nerfed, but just not enough, I guess. Like the heavy is still very, very strong. So yeah, there you go. That's it for the 3 loadouts. And I know I've made videos like this before, but I'm just making this one because there's been a couple of patches since this last video. So one last thing here, one last quick little announcement. I posted this yesterday on my channel, and I'm just going to say it in this video as well. I'm going to be trying to do a top 10 video. I might turn it into a series if the first video goes well, but we're going to have to see. And I want all of you, it'd be great if all of you sent me your best clips. So the video is just going to be very generic. It's going to be like top 10 plays or something like that. So send me anything you're proud of, send me anything where you played well, or even stuff that's like silly or funny. Just all of that stuff. If it's a good clip, then feel free to send that to me for a chance to be featured on the channel. And I am going to have the extra stuff about that in the description below, so you can see how to like send it to me and how it all works and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.